So Citizenserve, we've been in business for over 18 years. And we started back then with I think, a pretty unique business model at the time from two perspectives. And I think one of those is still very unique. But we started right from the very beginning as a software as a service. We've always kind of focused on really serving the municipal marketplace, so city, towns, counties, specifically around community development. So, permitting, business licensing, code enforcement, planning and zoning, 311, request tracking. It's kind of been our focus. We've really, kind of stayed true to just focusing on that. So we started at the very, very beginning as a software as a service. So 18 years ago, people did not really understand what software as a service was. It was very new, especially in this space where, they were not quite sure what that meant to have their data, in something called the cloud, much less what the heck a cloud was. But that's kind of how we got started. And I think we've, always had a very simple architecture in terms of we've stayed very true to the browser, which means, we've never had any other user interface other than, a browser. We're going to work on any device, any browser. So it's going to work, Citizenserve is going to work the same, at home, on your desktop, on your Windows machine as it does maybe in the office on your Apple machine or on your phone or on your tablet, right? So there's no software that anyone has to download either from the staff side or from the constituent side. And so we've had a lot of experience in managing both the infrastructure and kind of delivering a multi-tenant based kind of a cloud solution to our customers over our 18-year history. The other thing that we do that's very unique for our customers when we started and is still unique today is we realized from the start it's hard for a municipality to get budget, when they want to change things in how their software is being set up. It's just hard for any municipality to do that year to year. I mean, so we've always offered a complete support model for our customers, which means anything that they want once they're implemented, we're there to do for them. And it's really anything. If someone needs to be trained, if they want to change their fees, they want to add permits, they want to, add some new rules in their workflow or whatever it might be. We do that for them, and we don't charge any more for that. That's just part of their yearly subscription. And we do things very, very quickly. If you talk to our customers, what they'll tell us, software's awesome, but they're like, I've never, worked with another software company that does the kind of service that you guys do. So we took that software as a service. We took the service part of that very seriously right from the beginning. And I think it really is what differentiates us in the marketplace. I mean, our software is differentiated on its own. It's a great product. We continue to make it better and better. It's easy for us to do that because all of our customers are on the same version of the software. We don't have, multiple platforms that we're trying to support, all the configurations of database servers and application servers that are out there. So we have a very homogeneous environment, which allows us to, continue to, make our application better and better. But all that being said, our customers love our service. They know us, we know them. Anyone who has a subscription to Citizenserve, any individual that is username and password can ask us to do whatever they want. If it's a report or they need a new metric or whatever it might be, we get about 85% of the things we get asked to do each day done that same day. So I think that's a couple of things that really make us very, very unique. We've also grown our business very responsibly over the last 18 years. So we've never had any debt. We've never had any external investors. We have no plans to do any of that. So we're not, doing all kinds of crazy things to make quarterly financial goals or to, pay some venture capitalists who infused a bunch of capital in us back. So we stay very close to our customers through support and, because we know them and they know us, and that's really the only people that are telling us what to do. We like that.
Good deal. Okay. Thanks for that.
That cut into too much of your time issue. Was that?
No, we're going to do our best. My goal is to give you a high-level overview of the system, and we offer the 6 modules at the bottom. So we have a module for business licensing, one for code enforcement, one for permitting, one for planning and zoning, one for request tracking, and one for the online portal. And that's where we're going to start the demo today. Now, all of our applications can be built and enabled so that our municipalities' citizens can go to their online portal and see a customized experience where they can apply online and, more importantly, pay online for services. So we're looking at my demo environment for the town of Buena Vista, where we offer, again, all of our services here. I'm going to jump right in to apply for a permit, but note we have a bunch of other content pages that are configurable. So each municipality is only going to deliver the services that they want to offer to their constituents. So that's a real benefit. So I'm going to jump in and apply. This is going to take us to the login page. If I were a new user, I didn't have an account yet, I could register on the page, but I'm just going to jump right in and we will apply. So this has taken us to the application page. So in this system, you're going to see everything that's defined for this environment. This list is configurable. So whatever your municipality wants for permits, we build them and they appear on this dropdown. Let's pick a building permit and we'll say new construction. We'll say it's for a new single family home. Now we're able to tie these applications to existing projects. So if this were a house going in on a subdivision and they had a subdivision file number, the contractor could enter that there, or they could put in a street address to tie it to that project. Staff members can do that on the backside as well. For this demo, we'll just do for an existing project. And now I'm going to type in a partial address for, well, actually, I'm going to do it for 9 Bakersfield so you can get a full listing. One of the integrations that we do is with parcel data and GIS integration, GIS data. So we want to integrate with our municipalities' GIS and parcel data so that when they come in and type in a partial address and they click find, it's going to search through their database and find matching addresses. I really want 941 Bakersfield, and it's going to pull in that property ownership data here. So that's one example of how we can interface with data. And now I'm going to fill out this application form. We have 24 different types of custom fields. So what you're seeing is an example of a building permit. We would do the same for a license or a planning permit where we can build the application with these different custom types. When I type in the number of structures to be built, this gives us a bunch of other data entry for that one structure. This is an example of a dynamic field. If, say, I were going to build 3 structures, I would pick 3 and then I would get data input for that. So it's just a great way to present just what the constituent needs to see. So we'll go fill these in. Put in square footage. And cost. Now these fields can help drive fees. We also have the ability to draw the site. A customer asked for this. They said, we just want the contractor to draw the shed and how far away it is from the property line. So there you can watch my chicken scratch on the screen. I've created this little drawing file. We can integrate with contractor licensing. So when I type in Smith, it pulls up all of the active licenses for these contractors. So I'll pull in that one. And we can also just integrate with the contractors that have registered on the site. So that's how this second field is set up. But again, this is an example. We can upload documents. So if they want to ask for a site plan, we can pull one in. I'm in my licensing data. And then at the bottom of the form, we have terms and conditions. So there's a checkbox I can check. If they want to collect a signature, again, we can do that through a signature field. And then I can submit this form. So we're also integrated with payment processors. We've integrated with about 27. We can integrate with more, but if we give our customers this list, they're able to pick from one of those 27 and have a free integration to a payment processor from our side. So these fees are all driven based on the fields that were selected on my form. So it gives me the total amount. I can't change that, but I can put in my credit card information.
Mhm.
And then this little box is new. You can see what you entered. If you count, there should be 15 ones there. Sometimes I still fat finger those keys.
I know. I'm a user of that box. I can never.
Right.
Like, what did I type?
But not like I'm going to count these. I mean, come on. So now I'm submitting. So this is going to, apparently my payment processor is not hooked up anymore on this side. So what has truly happened is that the application has been submitted to the town. So we can jump in on the town side and I can show you how payments work on that end. So, but before we do that, let's go take a look at what this application looks like from the staff side. So we've just submitted our permit. We're looking at our requests. Here we can see the demo permit that I just submitted. every user will be able to see everything that they've submitted. I do demos, so I have a billion things in there. This is what the permit file looks like. We have a series of tools on the left-hand side, data about this file, and then a Google image that's scraped from Google. It's redundant. And then we just have tabs. So on the permits tab, you see all of the questions that have been asked and answered on the permit, and that goes all the way down to our signature at the bottom. The reviews tab is going to show the review route that's been assigned to this project. Now, this is configurable. So if a municipality has no review route, it won't be assigned. If they have one step, that's what it will show. But we can support consecutive or concurrent reviews. In this case, you only see one start date. When this step is completed, it's going to trigger some concurrent reviews to happen, and we'll get to see that today. The Documents tab is going to show any documents that have been uploaded, and then as they're generated by the system, they're going to be available here as well for the constituent to see, so it's a very transparent process. And then the Inspections tab is going to hold inspection data when we're ready for that. So I'm going to log into the staff side. I want to show you some functions that are available here. This is our homepage, and we've just opened up a new release, and our demo environment has just moved to it. So it's kind of exciting, and it's a little bit different look and feel. So this is going to feel a little bit different than the portal. The portal is eventually going to get an upgrade and a new look as well. So one of the features of this new upgrade is that this is it's made with responsive design, as is the portal. So your users can come into the system, and it will on any device, and it will shrink and grow with their screen. So if they're on a cell phone or a tablet, they'll get the content. So we're looking at her task list. And as you see at the bottom here is our demo application here. So we can look at the application intake step. I'm going to just complete this step for you so you can see what a user has available. She's the permit clerk, so she wants to review the application, make sure everything's complete. And if you notice, we're on our permit project. It gives us the file number. In fact, maybe I'll scroll in a little bit to make it a little bit easier to see. So this is our description here, and we're on the reviews tab. So from here, she wants to take a look at that permit application to make sure everything's complete. So she can click this ... It's going to open up the permit application on the staff side, where she can do things like change the status to under review. This can lock down things on the portal so your applicant can't make any changes when it's in review status. She can verify the project details, and then we can add fees or make payments. So these fees have been generated by the system. They're based on what the applicant has input, but Morgan can actually add fees if she wants. So if I click this, she's able to add. This system has 3 fees defined, but we'll define as many fees as are necessary so that if they have to add a manual fee, they can. Let's just add a miscellaneous fee, a fee. So this will add a $5 fee. We can also give, and here's that fee right here for $5. We can also give our staff members the ability to change these fees if needed. So in this case, a plan review fee has been applied, but there's a checkbox here. So if this permit doesn't really need that fee applied, then we can recalculate, and it's going to remove that plan review fee of $41.55. So it's taken that off. So there are lots of configurability options here to give our users the tools they need, but still maintain fiscal responsibility and oversight. So let's log a payment here really quick. So if we took a payment over the counter, we would scan it through our card reader, and then we would log the payment here. So we'll say that we took an American Express, and we can put in a payment amount of, say, $5,000. That'll still leave a balance due. But you can see this payment amount has been added. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to save this change on this permit. That'll lock it down on the portal. And this user can go through their review process. So we went back to that initial tab, and they can go ahead and just add a comment, say from the comment book. They were missing a couple documents on that. So we'll go ahead and say that their preliminary cost affidavit and plot plan and landscape plan were missing. So these are just canned comments available from the comment library. We'll load a new library for each municipality. They can determine those, and then they're available to send out as emails. We can do that through the system here. The system can do it automatically, or we can allow the users to send these notifications. I'm going to pick the template for incomplete application, and we'll select the applicant as the recipient. I'll just show you a preview really quick. This is an example email from the system, which has that comment that we just added from the comment book. We could edit this on the fly, but I'll just send this off. So, we have a bunch of tools that are listed here. We don't have time to go into all of them, but I do want to show you what it's like to complete this activity, and we'll give it a status of approved with conditions. Now, maybe in real life, she's missing documentation and we just sent an email to the applicant. The applicant can then go into the portal and upload those documents. It generates notification to us. So we're going to imagine that that's done. And she can even give this a status of corrected. And then you have history of that in the system. So when she got that, she would complete this task. And when we click save, remember, it's going to complete this one and it's going to trigger some new ones. This is just to show you that configurability and the options with the workflow. And here we see the whole workflow route. So it's closed down that task and it's showing us the overall route. So we see all of these steps. Only one is completed, but now these are all available on users' task lists to complete. So we're going to imagine that all of those reviews have been done. They can go to different departments, different users. They can be stacked against each other or done at the same time. But when they're all done, the constituent or the municipality wants to issue the permit, right? That's our goal at the end. So we'll show you what it's like to approve the permit. And if I change it to approved, this is going to generate an email notification to the user that says, hey, all of your reviews are done. Your permit has been approved and now it's time to pay. So I want to go back to the portal and we'll see if I can get this other window to pop up. In fact, I'm going to log out and log back in. Normally our constituents don't have to do this because they're not logged in as 5 different users in Citizenserve. So we'll see. So I could go open that permit to find the permit and it will show me the payment option, but we also have the ability to make payments on multiple permits. So when I click this button, make a payment, it's going to pull up a listing of everything that I owe on, and then we'll find our permit and we'll make a payment. So I'll unselect everything and we'll scroll down here. So here we see our demo description, our permit, our address. And when I scroll down, I'm going to, boy, I have a lot in the system now.
You got a lot to pay.
I owe a lot, but I'm only going to pay this $8,300.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are here at this payment processor. It's thinking about it. Ta-da. So what we've run through is the approval process, and then we're going to jump back in staff side, and then you can go in and issue the permit itself. So we'll open our permit, and then we're just going to change the status to issued. Notice that populates an issue date and an expiration date. These are all configured based on the permit type, and now we can generate that permit certificate. So I've selected my letter generator, and I will pick my permit card. And we'll click generate. And then here is an example of a permit card. We can pull data from the database and print it on the permit. Mm-hmm. And these are just done through HTML so that they're highly configurable. We can make it look just about however they want. Now, when I save this, it's going to create a document on the file. It's also going to make that document visible on the portal side. So it's taken us to the Documents tab where you can see a history of all the documents on the project, starting from the documents that were uploaded with the application, along with our system-generated emails. Here's the manual email that we sent, more notifications, and then that permit card. So in a nutshell, this is how we get to the point where we issue a permit, and then we can go through an inspection process. What I'd like to do, though, is switch gears and talk about the licensing process. So again, we're out on the portal and I'm a constituent, and I can come and I can go to the business licensing section and I can apply online. We have more options in business licensing that they can do renewals through the online portal as well. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to pull up a business license application, but if you notice, we can do hazardous materials or massage licenses or trade licenses, any license you can think of, including pet or any of those types of licenses we can do through the system. So I'll pick a business license and we'll say that it's located within the city limits. And we will open a sushi house. We'll say that this is a new business location at 141 Baker. And when we click find address, then it pulls in that ownership information. The business license has business license specific questions, but again, this is all going to be based on what the municipality needs. So we'll build their application to their needs. So this will be a restaurant, and they ask for a UBI, and they want us to upload a copy of that UBI, which I happen to have a sample of. So we'll do that. We'll say best raw fish in town, people. Now you can add other contacts on the system. I'm just going to put myself in. And then the year opened can help to drive fees. If you had opened last year, the municipality can collect additional fees. And this next code field is kind of fun. It's a searchable field. So if I type in family, it limits my search and pulls up everything with family. And then if I keep typing and I do family restaurant, it limits my search and I can pick the limited service restaurant selection that makes sense for me. And here, this is a sole proprietorship. Misha will be the owner. I'll be the owner. And then will this be assembly or educational use? Now, this is a planning department information question. They'll want to do their review and they'll want to look at this information. So we can collect all of this data from these different departments based on what their departments need. So we'll say no, it's not an assembly. No, we won't have this many people applying. Building department wants to know if it's change of use. That's a no. Fire department wants to know if we'll have these safety pieces. We will. And now let's upload a couple documents like a driver's license and then a business license. This is just another example. I'll just pull up a UBI file.
I'm just going to ask all the municipality like requirements or needs. I'm assuming that gets flushed out kind of in the onboarding process of of them becoming a customer?
Yeah, so we go through an implementation with each of our customers where we're, gather the kind of existing permits that they're using and other data that we need. And then our implementation process is very kind of Scrum Agile. So then we'll set up a weekly meeting with them. Every week we show them the work we've done in a, web conference just like this. They give us feedback. We make those changes. They get hands-on, give us more feedback. And, because we're really going to make any change that they ever need, we don't have a scope other than, our conversions and integrations. So we just keep going through that iterative process with them until it's set up the way that they want.
Gotcha. And then anything subsequent to that, I think we had some conversations with Siama just about the portal perhaps that they would use for any additional changes they might want to see or reporting they might need. Is that right? They kind of go through a help desk type portal for those requests, or?
Well, it's just built into Citizenserve. So, yep. And so they would just put a support request in, and that's kind of that full support model that I talked about in the very beginning.
Okay.
So I'm just going to close this down, right? Because a user could decide to do this too. They could say, I'm not going to pay by credit card. I'm going to take them a check, or I'm going to take my credit card into town. So we can mimic that. And then what we've just done was submitted a business license application that's going to get routed to the town, just like the permit did. So all of the options that are available on that permit in terms of having a review route assigned and having different departments review and approve and require resubmittal and get feedback from the user, that's all still available in the business license. Now, the difference between business licensing and for us, when we think about things internally with Citizenserve, is that licenses renew and permits finalize and get, they close out. So the renewal process is what we're going to talk about next. We've got a series of approved licenses. I want to show you just a little bit about this dashboard that we're looking at. This is Derek Christopher. He's our business license user. He's got a task list that he manages, but he also manages the renewal process. So he's got a renewal notice that he sends, and he's able to have that on his dashboard. It's just a one-off license metric that he can just run. And he has it set up so that he can run a letter to be printed and mailed. And if we run this report, let's see if I have anybody in 2017. This is going to pull this up as a letter to be printed out, and it's got 17 different users. So this is the start of one of those. But again, this is configurable. So what we're showing our users is a sample of what's possible. In this case, this would get printed out, and the business owner would fill out this form, or they could go to the portal and they could do their renewal online and submit payment online. And there are 17 of these in here. Now in this case, we have a metric that displays all of the renewals that have been processed. So it says that there are 47 that have this renewal status open, and these metrics are cool. And this big blue, light blue bar is that 24 notices have been sent. And if I hover over this darker blue, there are 20 or 19 that have been completed. And this last one is that 4 have been submitted. So that means 4 people have completed the renewal after Derek has generated his initial renewal process letter and sent them out. So these are pending and waiting to be completed. So when we click on this section of the metric, it's going to pull up all of the files that make up that metric. So these are the 4 that are waiting. Look, I've renewed my taco house. Let's go take a look at this file. This is going to open up the license, and it's going to allow us to do processing on it. So Derek is going to take a look and see that everything has been filled out completely, that everything looks good. All of these red fields are looking A-OK. There's a signature. There's total fees due. And apparently I can't see what's on my screen. There's no balance due here. So to complete this, all we do is issue the permit. Sorry, the license. So we're going to generate this just like we generated a permit. So when I click the button, it's going to pull up all of the templates that are available on this file type, and I'll pick this business license certificate. And if you notice, the expiration date is 2019 and the issue date, but when we generate this letter, it's going to do some processing in the background, and now it's going to update that. And when we save it, it saves it to the file, and it's available on the portal. And then if we go back, we'll just go back and take a look at this license really quick. You can see that it updates the issue date based on the beginning of the year, and this is all done programmatically. And then if we go to his home screen, our metric is going to wind down. We've taken care of one of those renewals, so there will only be 3. And then I think, why don't I pull in the administrative screen so you can get a little bit of a sneak peek. This is I'm logged in as an administrative user. We allow our users to log in and have this access, but this is how we manage their site. So we won't lock them out of anything. We are happy to do this work for them. So we're on the administrative window. And if I want to look at the license types, I'm just going to pick the licensing department, business licensing. And that's going to pull up all the license types that are defined. And this will let us look at the configuration for that renewal. So we'll look at this little window. These are all of the settings that the municipality gets to determine, when are you going to send the renewal? It's not automatic. This one's set to never. When are you going to reset the fees? When are you going to reset custom fields on the form? That would require the applicant to resubmit that information. So these are just all configuration options that can be set on each license level. So that's a nice feature for them to manage. Okay, so we have 9 minutes left, but I think that I can give you a pretty good overview of code enforcement in that time. So take off your business licensing cap. I haven't been having you change roles, but we're going to change roles now. We're going to be the code enforcement officer, Lucas. He's got a task list, right? So he's in the morning and he's running through his day, but his phone rings. And it's Ginny, who is a concerned citizen, and she wants to report a problem with her neighbor's yard. So he goes to create, and he goes to code enforcement case, and he can just start typing. Neighbor's yard is overgrown with weeds and junk vehicle parked out. Now, Ginny could also go to the portal and submit this online. I just want to show you what it's like for a staff member. So he's going to ask for the property address. And she says, oh, I don't know, but I live at 140 Baker Street. So we'll type in 140 Baker and we will do a search. And we'll see if we can find her information in the system. And when we do, we can go to the map and we say, Ginny, where is your neighbor located? And she says, oh, it's the blue house on the corner. They are such a bunch of trouble. So I think we'll say, Ginny, are you really at 140? And she says, oh, no, I'm at 143. Ha, ha, ha. We can go to satellite view here. I put in my wrong data entry, but we can drag this map, right? If we're at 143, we can drag the pin to the house on the corner. It's going to update our address. It's going to update that parcel data and pull that data in. So we'll save this. It's going to update that information. Now we have property owner information. And if we want to track her, we can add Ginny's contact information here. So there's no add button here. It wants me to search the system to see if I can find Ginny. It helps if you spell her name right. So when I search for Ginny, we can say, oh, Ginny Smith. Oh, she's at 141. I can't even remember, but when I pick her name, it pulls her contact information into the file. So she's associated with this. We can send her messages and she can track status in the portal. So this is just file information. If we want, it tells us that we're our department and our user, and we can add a category. We can say this is vehicles or weeds. And then down at the bottom, it allows us to create an activity automatically. It's going to assign it to Lucas, who we're logged in at, and then we can actually do the inspection process. You have to enter all the required fields. This is a code enforcement case, right? He's just adding this as part of his day. So when he saves it, this creates the code case. Now we have a picture of the address. We have the property address, the description, and he can actually start logging violations. So we're going to go to the activities tab and we'll do that inspection. And I'll show you how in this system, we can just click add violation. So he's going to drive up and he's going to say, boy, those weeds are super overgrown. Let's go to filter by section. We'll look at property maintenance and we'll say, oh, overgrown vegetation. This is a way to do multiple violations at the same time. And we can add a comment here, must mow lawn to less than 3 inches. Really tough here. And then we have this abandoned wrecked vehicle and we'll say must tow from street by return visit. So we can add a follow-up date. We're going to tell them how long we're going to give them 2 whole weeks, maybe 3. So we'll give them until the 28th. And when I click save, it's going to add these violations to the system. Now, I added a follow-up date, so the system is detecting that and asking if I want to schedule a reinspection. When I say yes, it adds a task to my calendar so I don't have to think about that in the future. So we can go ahead and put in a completion date for this inspection activity, and we'll say follow-up is required because we've added these 2 violations. Now, we just did a demo for a municipality in another in New York State, and they have this right of entry form that their inspectors are supposed to complete. So we've left this on, but they have to say whether they've done this, whether the property is vacant or whether they did the inspection from the right of way or whether they filled out this right of entry form and then went into the house. And we did this from the right of way. We can add the contact, and then the reason for inspection was a complaint. So I've generated these 2 violations. I've added them to the case, but I'll pick up a photograph from my computer.
So that would be like if he was out kind of visiting the home and had the application on his phone, he could snap a photo.
Exactly. So I am going to just like, if I've been walking the site, taking the pictures on my device, they'll be saved in my library. So then I can pick a weeds and an abandoned car, and I can bring those into the file. There we go. So this allows me to associate the photograph with a violation. This is an abandoned wrecked vehicle, and we'll save these. So now when I generate that letter, I'm going to have some pictographic evidence of that. But we're going to go back to that activity, and we'll generate it from there. And you can see that it's already created that reinspection for me as well. So when you generate a document and you have, so I've uploaded those documents, I had a completion date set, it automatically closed it down for me. But we'll generate this letter and you'll get to see for this notice, we can add some photos. Get to see the thumbnails. And then we'll put in that certified mail number. Here's again that boilerplate letter, and then we've got these violations photographs included. So now I can save this. It's going to generate the document, take me to the Documents tab. Ginny can be on the portal and she can see that this notice has gone out. We see our history here on the Violations tab. You'll see your violation history. In a nutshell, what we have is an online portal that will allow citizens to submit applications or requests online, and they can make payments online. We have a review process that allows staff members from the municipality to review those applications and get feedback and go through a review cycles with the applicant. They can also log payments that way. Then they can issue those permits or licenses and generate those certificates. Those certificates are available on the portal. And then we offer actually quite extensive reporting. We have sets of standard reports that are available. We allow our constituents to use a report writer to write their own reports. But the real key is that we offer support center where they can submit a new request. This is new features. This is so cool, guys. In the new system, we're asking what we can help with. In the old system, they just named the request and described it. But now they say, boy, if I want a report, do you want to make changes to an existing report, or do you want to create a new report? And if I say I want to change an existing report, I get a list of all the reports I can pick from to change. So if I say I want to change this map report of issued permits, and I can say, then I can submit this, and then support can start working on that request. I am not actually going to submit this. But if we wanted to look at the support center, when I click open support center, this is that portal that you were talking about. So I, as Lucas, get to see everything that's ever been opened in my account. So I get to see that and open these. Anything open would be here. And if I had unread messages, they'd be at the top. So this is how we want our users to ask for those reports, because we'll tailor them. It's just all included in their subscription.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Misha, Ray, Siama, thank you so much for your time. Jornay and Kevin, I will be in touch with you to schedule next round of meetings.